Muscle cars defined America during the 60s and 70s with their notable iconic designs, insane speeds, and raw horsepower. Cars such as the Mustang, Camaro, and Charger served as a symbol of freedom and defiance, which we will cover in detail in today's article, along with their influence on the history of automobiles. Number 1. 1966 Plymouth Barracuda. A unique early muscle car. The 1966 Plymouth Barracuda is a great example of the fusion of great design and performance offered by first-generation automobiles. Barracuda was able to accelerate from 0 to 60 in less than 10 seconds thanks to a 235 horsepower engine, which was quite impressive at the time. One of the highlights of the Barracuda is that it is not hard to get, unlike many of the first-generation muscle cars, making it a good pick for car enthusiasts and collectors alike. In terms of exterior, the Barracuda was instantly recognizable. Its body was set extremely low, with its gigantic rear wraparound window, giving it a brief look that set it ahead of many competitors such as Ford Mustang. This distinct design feature became its signature look in the future, proving to be more aerodynamic. However, it's easy to see that the Barracuda's origins are tied as an automobile based off modified Plymouth Valiant. More colloquially called the Valiant Barracuda, it was able to borrow the base 150 horsepower engine from its more humble counterpart coming in below muscle car standards. The Barracuda's name transformed over the years with the powerful CUDA variant appearing in 1969. Unlike its predecessor, the CUDA was equipped with a 330 horsepower engine and was considerably more tempered. Though the 1966 model isn't regarded as the strongest, its sheer design and ease of access ranks it fairly high in the muscle car history triad. Number 2. 1966 Shelby GT350. A tame legend with lasting legacy. The Shelby GT350 from 1966 expands on the myth left by its predecessor, the Shelby GT350 1965. This handheld vehicle, Shelby GT350 on the other hand, was intended as an all-out racing machine. Our 1986 model of Shelby GT350 was meant to reach out to more customers. This development was urged by comments given to us by our clients, which stated that the 65 model was placed well out of their reach. Simultaneously, they also highlighted the constant struggle of manufacturing Shelby. Core motor driving capabilities that were incorporated in the 1965 Grad were either modified or even made optional with the 1985 model. Coney shocks that were adjustable, along with fiberglass hoods and free-floating side exhausts, which were common accessories, have been toned down. The fully locking rear end with Detroit locker differentials were no longer a standard. These developments have enabled us to properly close the gap of shifting 1966 GT350 into a more comfortable vehicle body without leaving its muscle car roots of the Mustang. The racing heritage of 1966 GT350 remained intact even with a few modifications. It stayed retention of an engine with an engine displacement of 289 cubic inch V8 along with 306 horsepower to allow a growing driving experience. The vehicle still stood out on the road with its design model and Shelby badge. Although not as extreme as its predecessor, the 1965 model, the 1966 GT350 successfully carved a niche in the muscle car history by fusing street and race car characteristics. History triad. Number 3. 1968 Dodge Charger RT, the apex of muscle car style and power one of the rare muscle cars. The 1968 Dodge Charger RT possesses unmatched aesthetics. Even today, its appearance and quite unmatched power are enough to say that the car is a legend. The design team has outdone themselves by introducing the second-generation Charger that has longer and sleek fastback shape in a rather more sophisticated part of the market, that being the 1968 segment. One of the most ostentatious features of the car is the recessed front grille, with no headlights and a full-width taillight. The car looks rather modern and stylish while at the same time intimidating. And to top all of that off, the car's entire structure was rather simple, enhancing the overall appeal of the muscle car. When it comes to performance, the muscle car truly dominates the field. The rear-wheel 1968 Dodge Charger RT comes with a professional torque of 480 pound-feet, paired with the standard engine of 440 Magnum Vive 8. But that is not all. Expect to be amazed as the Hemi 426 is available on request of the superstar. Providing more than 400 horsepower, the swap feels rather seamless. However, that isn't all the car possesses. The heavy-duty suspension and brakes all contribute to making quite the impression. Charger RT could be said to have made a mark in pop culture, mainly through its inclusion in Bullitt and the Dukes of Hazzard television series, and this ended up establishing its legacy. With its mix of modern design coupled with power and its unique cinematic popularity, the 1968 Charger RT serves as the perfect representation of the peak time of the muscle car era. It is still considered a dream car for many enthusiasts and collectors today. Number 4. 1968 Ford Mustang Shelby GT500 in Siamese, the incredible power of the Mustang, with luxury to the remaining collection. Messing in with the legacy that existed from the earlier 1968 Shelby models, the GT500 was able to expand in the realm of power, features, and refinements which aided it to capture the top spot during the golden age of muscle car domination of the era. During 1968, the powerful V8 engine came in Cobras, which were capable of putting out 360 horsepower with 440 pound-feet of torque. The VR8 gained notoriety for the incredible acceleration it possessed, as well as the torque, which made it a great muscle car on the streets as well as on track. With either a 3-speed automatic or a 4-speed stick shift, the GT500 was able to achieve its 60-mile-per-hour mark in under 6 seconds, which was quite the achievement during that time. To ensure the GT500 merged aesthetics with a great-performing muscle car, the vehicle was featured with suspension and brakes, which improved its handling massively. The style was an essential aspect of what made the GT500 special. It had classic Shelby features like dual air intakes, a distinct grille, and a fiberglass hood. Racing strips, large badging, and even optional side stripes completed the aggressive look. The inside of the GT500 featured performance accents, functional elements, and luxury elements such as high-back bucket seats, a wood-grain dashboard, and a roll bar as an option. With the ideal blend of performance, style, and exclusivity, the 1968 Shelby GT500 made it into the annals of American muscle cars history. It is still considered to be an inline collector's car representing the golden age of American muscle. Number 4. 1968 Ford Mustang Shelby GT500 in Siamese, the incredible power of the Mustang, with luxury to the remaining collection. Messing in with the legacy that existed from the earlier 1968 Shelby models, the GT500 was able to expand in the realm of power, features, and refinements which aided it to capture the top spot during the golden age of muscle car domination of the era. During 1968, the powerful V8 engine came in Cobras, which were capable of putting out 360 horsepower with 440 pound-feet of torque. The V8 gained notoriety for the incredible acceleration it possessed, as well as the torque, which made it a great muscle car on the streets as well as on track. With either a 3-speed automatic or a 4-speed stick shift, the GT500 was able to achieve its 60-mile-per-hour mark in under 6 seconds, which was quite the achievement during that time. To ensure the GT500 merged aesthetics with a great-performing muscle car, the vehicle was featured with suspension and brakes, which improved its handling massively. The style was an essential aspect of what made the GT500 special. It had classic Shelby features like dual air intakes, a distinct grille, and a fiberglass hood. Racing strips, large badging, and even optional side stripes completed the aggressive look. The inside of the GT500 featured performance accents, functional elements, and luxury elements such as high-back bucket seats, a wood-grain dashboard, and a roll bar as an option. With the ideal blend of performance, style, and exclusivity, the 1968 Shelby GT500 made it into the annals of American muscle cars history. It is still considered to be an inline collector's car representing the golden age of American muscle. Number 5. 1969.5 Dodge Superbia, a street legal drag racer. A street legal drag racer coming out in 1969, the Dodge Superbia 12 made its strong entrance acclaim for its exemplary design and performance, giving a fist to the all-luxury model philosophy during the late era of the 1960s. What started off as a mid-year release quickly positioned itself as an addition to the pre-release models. The luxury features that catered to comfort were eliminated, and what remained was a street, legal drag racer that was solely designed for maximum speed. The Superbia 12 was a huge success among the average car enthusiast. The heart of this car was a beastly 440 cubic inch V8 engine that was supplemented with a pack of Holley carburetors. And this unique combination is prominently known as the 446 pack. The torque reached a staggering 490 pound-feet, while the horsepower measured at 390. With these metrics, the Superbia was able to reach an insane quarter-mile time of 13 seconds. The A12 was constructed to be the bane of the drag strip and paired effortlessly with a 727 torque flight automatic. This muscle never stood a chance. In addition, the Superbia came equipped with a fiberglass lift-off hood and featured a scooter, which only elevated the already aggressive nature of the car. Forget the presentation, the A12 Superbia was a blank canvas. Dodge stripped the interiors bare to minus the weight throughout the car, replacing them with components like a Dana 60 rear axle and 15-inch steel wheels that were then covered with performance tires. The approach it had is what made it so beloved amongst competitors that were in the market for a cost-efficient muscle car that met their needs in racing. While having been produced for limited times with a singular purpose of performance, the 1969.5 Dodge Superbia 12 still remains one of the most desired and well-recognized parts of the muscle car industry for its power and grip-providing design. Before we move on to the next one in the list, I'd like to ask you a small favor. If you're enjoying this content so far, please take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Thanks to all of you who do. Number 6. 1969 to 1971, Baldwin Motion Phase 3. GT Corvette, a custom muscle car legend. The 1969 to 1971 Baldwin Motion Phase 3 GT Corvette is the best showcase of raw power, customization, and even prestige. This motion performance partnered with Baldwin Chevrolet, and this car was not offered by the factory, but handmade specifically for muscle car aficionados. To put it very bluntly, it was the epitome of excess muscle car, combined with the promise of performance that no car sold could outclass it on the road or even on a drag strip. Contained in its interiors was a highly modified big block V8 engine, which was often based on 427 or 454 cubic inches variants. These engines were fitted with performance modifications such as high-lift camshafts, Holley carburetors, and tuned headers that may push output engines to beyond 500 horsepower, even exceeding 600 horsepower, depending on customer specifications. All this engine power was coupled with 4-speed manual or heavy-duty automatic gearbox, which made the Phase 3 GT Corvette a great vehicle with incredible quarter-mile times in the low 11-second range. In terms of means of transportation, the Phase 3 GT Corvette was as stunning and aggressive as its performances. Custom flared fenders, eye-grabbing stinger, hood scoop and side pipes with bold stripes and colors made it visually stunning. Additionally, it was complemented with racing seats, custom gauges, and other performance-based aesthetics. Very few Baldwin Motion Phase 3 GT Corvettes were made, but in that limited production was built something very powerful. To this day, it is considered among the best and most customizable muscle cars ever built. A true representation of the golden days of muscle cars in terms of its innovation and net excess. Number 7, 1969, AMX/3, the American exotic that never was. The AMX/3, manufactured by American Motors Corporation in 1969, was trying to create a mid-engine sports car that could rival models from Ferrari and Lamborghini. It was designed by an American firm, but collaborated with Italian companies Giotto Bizzarini and Italdesign for additional refinements. This amalgamation was a perfect blend of American brawn and European sophistication. While the vehicle never went into mass production, it still stands as one of the greatest what could have been stories in the history of automobiles. The vehicle was powered by AMC's powerful 390 cubic inch V8 itself. The engine complemented the vehicle perfectly as it produced a staggering 340 horsepower and 430 pound-feet of torque. When paired with a 4-speed manual transmission, performance was south of short of breathtaking, especially when the vehicle reached a top speed of roughly 160 miles per hour. The weight distribution and rigidity balance provided by the monocoque chassis, combined with the mid-engine placement, made for jaw-dropping handling capabilities back in the day. In terms of aesthetics, the AMX-3 was a true work of art. The Italian automobile was designed by Edeldesign and Giorgetto Giugiaro and featured stylized bodywork that included a low profile, bold lines, and retractable headlights. Overall, the design was a piece of art that fully encapsulated the Italian supercar zeitgeist, but with an American muscle car aggressive twist to it. AMX-3 was a heavy American muscle, and only 6 prototypes were manufactured before the project was terminated. Concerns about the costs of production and AMC's financial troubles were the primary causes. Even with that being said, the AMX-3 remains scarcely available, which makes it valuable to collectors in history. However, it did introduce a small American manufacturer to the extremely competitive European sports car market. Number 8, 1965. Pontiac Catalina 2+2, the full-size muscle car with style and power. The 1965 Pontiac Catalina 2+2 reflects Pontiac's attempt at capitalizing on future muscle car competition of full-size segments. Dubbed the big brother of Pontiac cars GTO, the Catalina 2+2 stood for the combination of comfort, powerful engine, and striking design. It was a true muscle car launched for those looking forward to insanity and class combined together. The heart of the car came through its V8 engine displacement of 421 cubic inches, which could be configured differently. The upper variant of the Catalina engine, however, featured tri-power, which included 3 two-barrel carbs, producing a whopping 376 horsepower with 446 feet torque. The car could achieve a speed of 60 miles per hour from zero gradually and tossed over 7 seconds, while a 3-speed manual, 4-speed manual, or an automatic turbo hydrometric transmission was paired with it. For a car of such size, the speed was remarkable for a full-size car. The car, capable of producing such power, also came with a heavy-duty suspension and brakes, allowing for better movement and control of the vehicle. For those looking for a Vista style of vehicle, the Catalina 2+2 provided an alternative option. A sports vehicle could pose as Juliet's long-lost technical American. A first glance immediately reveals the coupe roof with a long, low, muscular stance, dual exhausts, 8-lug optional wheels, and extensiveness such as bucket seating, offering a high-class console and performance gauges inside. In some cases, its fans were scandalized by the 1965 Pontiac GTO, as the smaller muscle cars have always eclipsed the Pontiac Catalina 2+2. However, it has still managed to accumulate a loyal fan base. Undoubtedly, it stands out as one of the muscle cars because of the amalgamation of staggering strength, unique design, and luxury. To this day, it remains one of the loved items. Number 9, 1987 Buick GNX, the Grand National to rule them all. The 1987 Buick GNX was a limited production car which made its way to the automotive scene during the late 80s and earned the title of one of the fastest and arguably the most powerful car during the 80s. The McLaren Performance teamed up with ASC and Buick to create a version of the Grand National, which stood out amongst most muscle sports cars of its Western era with an impressive turbocharger. The GNX had a turbocharged 3.8-liter V6 engine, which produced roughly around 276 horsepower, mainly accompanied with roughly 360 pound-feet of torque. After extensive testing and criticism, it was widely accepted that these statistics were on a lower side, as in reality it produced about 300 horsepower. A 4-speed automatic transmission was installed along with a special calibrated differential, which enabled the GNX to go from 0 to 60 in 4.7 seconds and run a quarter mile in approximately 13 seconds, making the car give a tough competition to its V8-powered contemporaries. What truly set apart the GNX was its combination of speed and appearance. It was encased with a completely blacked-out exterior, which was teamed up with larger fenders, vents on the rear alongside with the uniquely designed badge, setting it apart and adding to its impressive presence. The aggressive stance the car showcased was further enhanced with the installation of a panhard rod and a ladder bar, along with the 16-inch black wheels. There were only 547 of the Pontiac Z UPF Buick all cars made. It was the last of the muscle cars before performance cars were tamed by emissions and regulation. It has now become highly sought after thanks to the style and unmatched performance it was built around. Number 10, Chevrolet Camaro IROC Seed, 1980. From 1985, the Chevrolet Camaro IROC Z was produced and named after the International Race of Champions. The creation was oriented towards bolstering the basic functionality of the Camaro, which was helped by the more designed body elements such as new sportier body kits, with special badges, flared fenders, distinctive hood stripes, and a more aerodynamic look. The IROC Z had two 8-cylinder engines available, the 5.0-liter, 305 cubic inch, V8 that had an output of about 190 horsepower, and a 5.7-liter, 350 cubic inch, V8 that was rated around 225 raw horsepower. They were both offered with a manual 5-speed or an automatic 4-speed, allowing a lot of power as well as fine handling. The revamped suspension was one of the standout upgrades featured in the IROC Z. Along with performance shock absorbers and stiffer springs, the car had improved handling and cornering capabilities. Its reputation as an all-around champion, with plenty of straight-line speed and good road speed, was well-earned. The evolution and production of the IROC Z came as a result of the rise in muscle cars during the 1980s and the drastic new sleek style and technology they brought with them. Its evolution stretched until 1990, which formed a bygone era to the late performance cars coupled with the muscle cars. Back in the day, there is no doubt that muscle cars from the 60s and 70s had an unforgettable impression and even a place in history. They had wonderful styling and brought out liberty in the state of America. Their craftsmanship will always echo with the power and performance they have provided. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. Thank you for watching, and see you in the next one.